Well, hello there, nerds. If you're a devout listener to the show, you know that we love to break down what's going on in the nerdy world every single week. But this week, wasn't a lot going on. And rather than give you a watered-down version of our podcast, we decided to do something extra just for you. We are going to open the vault and give you an exclusive behind the scenes of our Patreon episodes. So we are going to be discussing the movie, The Meg. This was a lot of fun. We actually got to see this movie together in theaters, and whew, let me tell you, this movie was something. Listen, we just hope that you enjoy this. If you want more of this fantastic exclusive content, go to patreon.com/thatkindofnerd and become a member of our Patreon, and you will get exclusive episodes just like this and some other behind the scenes. So, I hope you enjoy this episode of That Kind of Nerd where we discuss The Meg.
So last evening, I landed after a long week around the country working, and I came home and I saw my family for a couple hours, and then I departed and I watched a movie. And the movie I watched was called The Meg, and I watched the movie because our Patreon subscribers demanded I do so. And this episode that we're about to record is for our Patreon subscribers for demanding we see the movie The Meg, which the three of us did together, as promised. Here goes your exclusive coverage and Spoliercast for The Meg. God be with you.
My God. It's a megalodon. He's kidding, right?
So let's talk about The Meg.
So let's talk about The Meg. Brian, I know last episode you kind of wanted to have a more structured conversation, and we said, hell no, that's not going to happen. I would like to lead with one thing that we do need to talk about. As we addressed on episode 163 and 164, is Jason Statham known for kicking? I saw 0 kicks in this movie. I would like to say I was disappointed to not see kick, and there was one moment that we were all waiting for it.
Oh my gosh, it was so close.
He was trying to escape.
I was
Meg.
so tense. I was about to scream in the theater.
The Meg is caught on an anchor. It's chopping. It's inches away from his Jason Statham's feet. And he kind of uses his feet to kind of push away. And it looked like he was about to kick the shark in the face. And I saw Brian's hands go in the air like a field goal was just given. And Josh and I just going, that does not count as a kick.
That is not a kick, sir.
It's not a kick. So if all you wanted from this episode was, did Jason Statham kick a shark? No, he did not.
Nope.
Now,
way to just tell them right in the first 2 minutes, so now they can shut off this episode.
Listen.
Thank you, Patreon subscribers.
Nobody's shutting this off.
No one's doing nothing. All right.
So can we talk about the premise real fast?
Please go ahead.
Because the premise of The Meg is Jason Statham stars as Jonas, who is a deep sea dive rescuer. Right? I got that right.
Yes.
He
all-American guy, right? Because he's in the U.S. Navy. All-American guy.
Yeah, totally. With his extremely
British
accent. I don't know what nationality he is. He rescues 11 people from a sub at the beginning of the movie, but something is down there, and it explodes the sub, and he is forced to leave 2 of his friends behind in order to save the other 11. And this is something that completely weighs on him throughout the entire movie, apparently, we are told.
Kind of like The Rock in Skyscraper.
Kind of like The Rock in Skyscraper. Yeah. But then every time he tries to get out of the life, he gets pulled back in. And there is a team of scientists off of the coast in, what was it, China or Taiwan?
They're in China, off the coast of China.
Built this extremely elaborate underwater base.
A deep blue sea facility.
Funded by a billionaire played by Rainn Wilson. To pretty much explore the Mariana Trench, which I know what you're thinking, viewer. We've explored the Mariana Trench. No. We thought we reached the bottom.
Oh, we didn't.
We did not.
No.
That bottom is actually just really thick, dense, cold
It's a
cloud.
false bottom of hydrogen cloud.
It is a false bottom.
Science.
And the scientist has a theory, and we built this station. We've invested $1.5 billion into figuring out if this is right.
Oddly specific
Instead
number.
of just dropping a rock down there, we decide to build a station, and we learn that he's right. And there's all sorts of other giant.
Like instead of like snaking a long cable.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's put people down
What we're going to do is endanger human lives.
Fuck it, no robots. There's robots that went to the
robots.
Titanic. No. Real people.
So there's this whole other ecosystem down there that has been living there for who knows how long. And
at 30 degrees warmer than it is just a few feet above them.
Crazy.
And we all thought poor Jonas was crazy and that he just, out of fear and cowardice, left his friends behind. But we learned that there is a megalodon living in this ecosystem and a submarine is caught down there. And that's where the movie's action really gets started.
Well, there are multiple megalodons down there.
Right.
Spoilers.
We did not know this. You spoiled it. We bring Jason Statham back into the fold. We say, Jason, Jonas, we need your help. You're the only one who can save us. You are the best deep sea diver rescuer in the world. And he says, all right, mate. And we go and we do it.
We all
but
don't
we
say...
bring something back.
We all don't say Jason Statham save us. There are two people who are like, no, you're not allowed to lead this mission. You're too screwed up. You're not ready for this. And he's like, I'm going to prove you wrong. And then he saves the people.
Yes. But then when saving the people, we release a megalodon into our atmosphere of the ocean. And Chaos ensues. What you think will happen, happens.
Yep.
It is a wonderfully bad movie.
Here's the thing. I think leaving this movie, Josh and I talking again the whole time. This movie was garbage, right, Josh? This movie was terrible?
Oh, it was total shit.
Okay, Brian, I think you like this movie.
I don't think I don't like it.
No, you like this movie. I think you enjoyed this movie.
I think let me talk. Let me speak. Let me get my thoughts out there. I think there is an audience for this movie. I think if you are in the mood for a fun time to watch Jason Statham not kick a shark, but kick in the water many times because you have to swim. It's a fun movie. I don't like it.
No.
I don't like. Let me fucking finish.
I thought you had finished.
There was no
I want
fun.
you to think of every single fucking action movie in the 90s. That's this movie.
No.
Oh, it absolutely is. No plot, no actual thought involved. Let's just see cool shit happen. What if
the
a
cool
giant
shit
shark
that happened?
was there?
But then cool shit happens. Right, exactly. But then cool shit happens, and no cool shit happens in this movie. There's nothing that I'm like, yeah! Or something like,
cool
oh no!
Listen,
nothing cool happens.
I didn't like the movie. I think it's utter trash, but I can see why people
I have
like
a
it.
feeling you're one of those people.
My secondary title for this movie is The Meg, My Name is Jonas. Because every time they said Jonas's name, that's immediately what I thought of. And I started playing Weezer in my head for
Well, that's
30
the
seconds
appropriate reaction.
Exactly. Also, followed by that, 2 hashtags. Hashtag, who the fuck is watching this girl? Hashtag, is that guy's name Mick or Mech or Mike? I'm still not sure.
Mech,
Please.
Mick.
So let's talk about this. There is a character, I don't know his name, is the guy from Fear of the Walking Dead who plays the dad. His name is Mac, but everybody says his name different. Okay, so we have so many accents, right? We have people from China.
Spider in Training Day. That's what I want you to reference him as. Spider in Training Day. Or like the shitty FBI agent from A Good Day to Die Hard or whatever that was.
Live Free,
Die Hard.
It was Mac, Mike, Moog, Mike, like every...
I kept on thinking he was saying Mech.
I was like, is he Meg?
It was difficult, and I was confused at a couple points.
To a thing that Josh and I were realized, he keeps calling him Meg. I think the whole twist of this movie is
I think the guy's
like Scooby-Doo.
No. So I turned to CJ and I'm like, now he's controlling the shark, and at the end, they're going to arrest him, and they're going to pull his face off, and it's going to be a shark, and the shark's going to say, if it wasn't for you pesky kids.
So it's the whole point that he's really the shark, right? He's the Meg that they talk about, not just the Megalodon. Here's the problem I had with one part of the movie.
With one part?
Oh, I have problems with a lot. I want to focus on one in particular.
That he's referencing.
I have an issue with this. As the movie opens, right, he's doing the rescue for this Navy ship, right? His submarine is attached to his other one, like Steven Seagal in Air Force One, and he saves 11 people, but unfortunately, 2 people on the team have to die because, as he says to a room full of 11 people, if we don't leave right now, we're all going to die. So he detaches from that ship, and it immediately blows up.
Explodes.
Right?
Yeah.
And to which 11 people would probably just go, this guy just saved our life. He was right, because as soon as we let go, boom, the ship exploded. But no, that is not the opinion that everyone leaves with. They leave with, you left those guys behind. You had some kind of oxygen deprivation disease. You're insane. You're washed up. So much so that when they bring him to the new facility to do the exact same mission, surprise, surprise, the exact same thing happens, right? There's 3 people down the submarine. One of them, by the way, is his ex-wife, which we learn through exposition through a phone call, like a phone recording. What? We learn that his ex-wife is down there when someone's like, here's a recording of what happened. By the way, that's your ex-wife.
Really? Is that when we learned that?
That's where we learned it.
When he was just arbitrarily saying it to the Asian chick who's clearly the love interest in this movie.
No, we learned it when they tried to recruit him with the phone recording. That's what made him go, is that his ex-wife was there. Right. So he goes down to go rescue them. She's hurt. 2 people get out. Again, oh my god, this sounds really familiar. They're about to be attacked, and he's got the Steven Seagal device in the middle. What are we going to do? And then Hero from Heroes says, like, screw it, I'm going to save everybody and sacrifice myself. Closes it, right? Detaches, and then instantly is killed. And then when they get to the surface, you let him die! You don't understand what's going on! You're washed up! Again, witnesses going, no, that's not how that happened. How the hell was that a thing that kept going through this movie of you're an idiot and you should feel guilty? He does feel guilty? No! It's clear as day that he saved all these people's lives.
Because that was his character's hang-up. So, of course, that was so going to be the exposition. Like, it's
a better hang-up. The hang-up of like, man, I feel like I let them down, and everyone's telling me I didn't, but I feel I let them down, is a different story and a different
He feels like he lets people down, so everybody just continually tells him he lets people down.
That's just poor writing.
Oh, yeah. Poor. Well, absolutely poor
lazy,
writing.
Right?
Just poor.
Here's my main problem with this movie the entire time. I was like, I don't understand why this person is here. I buy Jason Statham as a deep sea diver rescuer. Sure. I buy it. I buy Meg being like the head of this science team.
Sure.
I even buy Rainn Wilson as an eccentric billionaire.
Oh, no, he was terrible.
I buy him. I buy it.
I believe it. Go ahead.
What I don't buy is Ruby Rose as like this genius engineer
and
who designed this entire state-of-the-art, like, over-the-top, underwater house.
Who's Ruby Rose?
She's the one with the spiky hair.
Who they kept on commenting on her hair.
Oh, the hacker?
Got the tattoos.
Yeah.
The hacker.
And you knew that because her hair was hacker hair.
Yeah, she had spiky hair.
I don't buy her as this genius engineer. And there's a line in it where when Jason Statham's coming on and they're in the elevator, she's like, yeah, I designed all of this.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, so I guess you're kind of in charge of, making sure I stay alive. And she goes, yeah, pretty much. And then she does nothing.
Nope.
She stares at an iPad and says, oh, yeah, it's right there. Yep. The shark's there. And I'm like, it's not that I don't buy Ruby Rose. Like, Ruby Rose, I think, could do that kind of role.
Yep.
I needed one scene of like, we have this problem to fix. Ruby, we need you to fix this problem. Only an engineer can fix this.
Nope.
I need one scene like that.
Nope.
It wasn't there. It was terrible.
Here's the other issue I had too, and someone else brought this up to me because they saw the make. So Nate, I'm letting you have your voice on this show for a moment. This is Deep Blue Sea problem all over again. We have a very important moment, right? We're sending people down to go check this thing, but we're only running with a skeleton crew. This is a huge facility. And when it's time to evacuate it, there's only one room, of maybe 11, maybe 15, right? Some extras in the background, people.
Like the same number of people that were in the theater.
Right. Exactly. The exact same number that were in the theater. Where the hell was the rest of this? Why would you only have 15, 20 people on the most important day of this mission?
Well, you couldn't operate a facility that size with that size crew, But I do want to note that at several points throughout the movie, each one of us cracked up the whole theater with a reaction.
Yep.
I saved mine for the end.
I was very happy with how that went.
You did. At the end of the movie, they had the audacity for this fucking movie to put the word Finn on the end. And Brian just goes, like a shark. Get it? fucking just the whole theater was just done. So many just bad, terrible things with it.
Here's what's like really ridiculous about this movie is like we're led to believe it's only one megalodon, and it's like 75 feet long or something like that. And we spend the entire second act hunting down this shark, and we go through all sorts of crap. Nobody dies.
Nobody.
Throughout the entire second act. And you're like,
so mad.
Okay. All right, everybody lives. The doctor would be proud. And we get it, we have it strung up, and then, oh wait, there's an entirely other shark that made it out that is twice the size, and that's when we're going to start killing people in the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not even just like Jaws was just one shark, and like we were happy with that. Like I didn't need a bigger, badder shark. And then like when he's getting closer to the beaches in Korea or Taiwan, and I'm like, there's no way a shark is getting in such shallow waters that people are swimming.
Not only that, but a shark this
big.
size.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. And it gets like halfway into where like people are partying, and then all of a sudden someone's like, oh, hey, there's a shark. Like, this thing would be belly up on the shore by now. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, these people are like 100 feet out from the shore. Like at that point, it's maybe 5-6 feet deep. Come on,
right? It was disappointing.
And that fucking dog lived.
The dog's in the trailer, right? You'll see that dog in the trailer. And the Meg looks like it eats it. And Josh is like, yeah, the dog ate it, right? When that moment happens, like, yeah. And I'm like, that dog is not dead. We have no body, right? No body, no death. That dog is not dead. And then at the very end of the movie, guess what? Little Pippin. The dog's name is Pippin, by the way.
Super pissed.
Pippin's alive. And I just see Josh get visibly, like, crosses his arms. He's visibly upset. The fucking dog's still alive. I'm like, the dog lives.
The dog was an
Pippin
asshole.
lives. What was the name of the guy who was down the boat with Hero and the ex-wife? Does anyone remember that character's name? I want to know if he's the guy from Titanic, because if so, he's got a very particular type of role he likes.
He's totally typecast.
Right.
He doesn't even have a name. His nickname is The Wall, and that's the only thing we know him as.
Because he loves buying CDs at the mall.
He was not in Titanic.
No, he was not.
Very disgruntled. I thought he was the guy from Titanic with a smiley face with the gunshot through it. What a bummer.
Can we please just for a second, can we talk about the 8-year-old girl who's wandering around a state-of-the-art facility with no supervision?
And before we do that, I also like to just let you know, everything in the Meg, I mean everything, has lights. Everything gets a freaking LED attached to it. Shoes, hallways, balls.
And you know what the shark is attracted to?
Light. Oh my god.
It's a major plot point.
Everything has a fucking LED light on it. Yes, let's talk about this little girl
who is watching this girl.
Completely
Why are we letting her run around?
Nobody was watching
little girl. Josh, what was that bit about DiGiorno pizzas?
So all right, look, they all go on this rescue mission, right? And after this dramatic scene, they come back, and this little girl pops out like, "Hey, everybody!" And I'm like, "Who the hell was watching the little girl?" It was real simple. There are 3 ovens in 3 different sections of the rig. We've set a timer for each one. There's a different DiGiorno in each oven. You get one at 10, one at 2, and one at 6. I'll be back soon. And I'm like, what the hell? She's just walking around. It's empty. Everybody's on the mission. It was
so bad.
awful. There were so many things that I was like, and it wasn't even...
I love how she's like playing with a state-of-the-art sub. Like, oh, hey, I'm just going to start messing around and clicking buttons and stuff.
Right,
and he's just like, hey, who are you?
And here's the guy who's got to operate the sub, jumps down there, and his initial reaction is, who the fuck are you? No, it wasn't. Why wasn't it? Like, why didn't he recoil in horror about a child?
Or get out of my rig. Nothing like that.
Playing with the instruments he's about to use to dive 11,000 feet and try to save lives. Like, there's a child playing with the things that have been calibrated.
Yep. Can't do it. Here's a question I had, right? So I came home after the movie, and my wife was like, how was the movie?
Nope.
I was like, it was awful. It was awful. She goes, they make it's awful. This is known. was like, it is known. You're right. It is. And she's like, so just explain to me what happened. So I'm explaining the movie to her, and she goes, okay, here. How'd the Meg die? And I was like, wait, how did the Meg...
Through willpower.
No, I was,
Which Meg?
No, I was like, how did the Meg die? And then I realized,
Which one is the
big
question?
Meg, the big Meg, right? And I was like, Jason Statham was in a boat. It got damaged, and a little bit of shrapnel was out. So he, like, turned and gutted the Meg. But that's not what killed the Meg. Do you know what killed the Meg? Other sharks. Other sharks came out of nowhere, apparently out of spite, right?
They were attracted to the blood.
it was like the end
sharks
of
are cannibals.
it was like the end of How to Train Your Dragon.
I can give you a few sharks, a handful, maybe 7 sharks would show up, right, that quickly.
No, every shark in the ocean.
Yes, it was like
came to
300 sharks.
Because it was like 100-foot Meg.
It was like, hey, we heard Tom Cruise is in the area. He's our big shark. Let's go see. Oh, we can eat him. Let's just John, did you get the email to come for the cookout? Because the Meg is dead. It was. I realized it wasn't a hero. It wasn't the valiant work of our humans. It was other sharks spitefully eating the Meg.
That's not true. So.
Oh yes, you're right.
He jacked the ship sideways and he gutted the Meg, and then he came around.
The Meg started chewing the bubble.
So he popped the bubble and he comes around now with a spear, an underwater spear, like a fucking, what is that? Like a Triton thing,
like a harpoon.
Yeah, a
Trident.
harpoon. Yeah, I'm calling him like he's Aquaman at this moment, and he. Jams it into the Megalodon's eye, and the Megalodon's like, "No, my eye!" And then he pushes it all the way through, presumably into this prehistoric shark's tiny little brain that he located.
Has to be like the size of a peanut.
Seriously, and this is pretty well documented, right? And they had tiny little brains, but he shoved it through this giant eye into this massive fucking head and found this tiny brain and pierced it. And that's what killed this monster dinosaur shark.
And just for the record, he didn't do that underwater. Here's what happened. As his ship is being destroyed, right? The bubble capsule that he's in is filling with water. As it's already filled with water, he then puts his goggles on. So now his goggles are full of water. But
yeah, he had an oxygen mask.
But his goggles were full of water. He was underwater and then put goggles on.
Was full of eels.
And then he got out, and that's, he stabbed the Meg once through the eye. Shark went, ow, my eye, and then decided to free willy, right, up into the air and leave the water. And they're all in the water, all in the air, hanging up in the air, 30 feet up in the air, and that's where he jabs it through. So not only does he know the accuracy of where this...
But in the
air is where he gets to push it through. Whew. And then
it would have been so much better if he kicked that harpoon.
Yes. Now I would, Brian.
I would have count that as kicking.
I would have too.
If he had kicked that thing through the eye into the brain, I would have stood up in the theater and gone JSK, and that would have been it.
Here's the other part too that I have. Obviously, his ex-wife is there, right? And as any other movie would have been like, they're gonna get back together.
No,
but they have a one line of like, well, because there he is to save her. He saves her. Oh my God, you came back for me. And
no, because Mick says that experiment was over inside a year,
and that's the thing.
And everybody believes everything Mick says.
Right? They said that
because they trust Mac.
But listen. It's also well documented that the reason they broke up is because she thought he was crazy about the other incident. So the storyline would go, "Oh my gosh, you weren't crazy. I still love you."
But why would he care what she wants to say now? She gave up on him then.
And Meg Mac, he says that line.
Yeah, Mick said that was over.
Yeah, but he said that after he saved her.
Right.
And they don't do anything.
He was telling the new love.
I understand, but they were telling us, the audience. Right, that, oh, by the way, that's never going to happen.
That's what I just said. Yes.
Right. But I'm saying they did that after the fact.
That's when you need to hear it. You don't need to... Look, everybody said he was a fucking crazy person, which meant the reason he and his ex are exes is that she bailed. She gave up on him.
Right.
So but then there's no going back from that.
But instead of pushing the traditional narrative of, hey, your ex-wife happens to be on this crew too... And you save her. And by the way, I think you just cleared up the fact that you weren't crazy and that your divorce shouldn't have happened because you were actually in the right. Let's not go for that story at all. Let's go for the, hey, there's just a random single mom on the crew too,
who clearly does not give a shit about her child.
Right. A terrible absent, stepmom. I'm sorry, single mom that's there. Go be in love with her instead, too, because we need to sell the tickets.
Story, by the way, was just told in Fate of the Furious. Jason Statham.
This movie was told in 3 other different franchises.
I'm serious. Charlize Theron kidnaps the child of the ex of Vin Diesel, and he has to completely bail on his family to go save his ex to save this child. And Jason Statham was in the movie.
It always comes around to the Fate of the Furious or Fast and Furious.
It really
with you,
does.
Jason Statham did some kicking in that movie.
Yes,
I'm just
he
gonna
did
put
do
that
a
on the
ton of
record.
kicking in that movie.
Let me just say, man, this movie was
Awful.
okay. Here's the thing: Skyscraper, right? Awful movie, right? Very bad movie.
This made Skyscraper look great.
That's exactly it. This made Skyscraper look really good and really well put together.
The difference is Skyscraper bombed at the box office. This has made 160 million.
But here's the thing,
far.
though. This movie spent so much money on marketing, Brian.
Because
while it's making
sharks?
a lot of movie. Is it profitable? Is the real question.
No. You know what you would think? You would think that it was like $130 million budget and probably another 50 million in marketing. on top of that.
The numbers I heard are higher, way higher.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's going to clear it. I think we're going to get a Meg 2.
Oh, and they kind of set this up for a sequel, right? Knowing that there's more stuff underneath
But
there.
both the things die. Oh, so it's just going to be like Godzilla down there.
Yeah, just another thing comes out. Oh my God, Godzilla versus
You know
the
what?
Meg?
No.
It's gonna be a
They
giant
took
crab.
the rover and the ship and they started constructing vehicles.
We get like a transformer made with
No,
armor?
it becomes Pacific Rim basically.
Oh, we're
These things
just
come out of the thing wearing armor.
Ugh,
And
man.
they've developed repulsor technology.
I'll buy that movie as long as Jason Statham.
Tony
doesn't
Stark did it in a cave. Sorry.
kick him. We better see some
Sorry.
kicking.
With a box of scraps.
I love you, Brian. So good.
Ugh,
That's
all
a
right.
great line. That's the best line
It
ever.
is a really
My
good
God, Jeff
line.
Bridges swung for the fences.
He
in that scene. It
did.
was
Jeff
amazing.
Bridges
He really
stuck
did.
that one hard.
It was so
God,
good. I
it
love
just
it.
stays with you.
So
Not like anything from this movie will
Can
ever
I read
do.
you? Can I read you some of the taglines for this movie,
Oh,
if I may be so
please.
bold?
Oh, please do.
So let me read you some of the other the taglines for the Meg. And Josh, I would love to hear your alternative taglines. The most feared predator in history is no longer history. Or if you see her coming, it's all you'll have time to say. Before chasing sea monsters, check your place on the food chain. They went to hell to build the world's largest aquarium. Now they're getting... Wait, what? They went to hell to build the world's largest aquarium. Now they're going even further to stock it. They'll be needing a bigger boat. Much bigger. That is way too long for a tagline. Chomp on this. Pleased to eat you. Opening wide. The ultimate lady killer. She's the biggest thing you never saw coming. What the hell is this aquarium bit?
All right, so I've got some reviews open now. Before I read some of the reviews, just so you know, if we're gonna go by Rotten Tomatoes, the Rotten Tomatoes critic score is 48%,
Oof.
and the audience score
That's
score
way
is
too high.
58%.
Way too high. Both. My God.
I'm trying to find some actually thoughtful 4 or 5 star reviews.
Yeah, you can't do
I
that.
can't.
No.
They're all the ones that are more than 3 sentences are 2.5, 1.5, a half a star. So I'll read some of the 4 and 5s. This one was a 5-star review. This movie was a fun summer blockbuster. We really loved it. Just sit back, munch on some popcorn, and enjoy. I whoever you are, don't have a name on Rotten Tomatoes. I disagree. Another 4-star review. Pretty good for another shark movie. Statham is always nice to see on screen, and it was not as lame as Sharknado. Hoping for a second one, but only if Jason is shirtless again. We see where your priorities lie, Danielle. Let's see here. 5-star review. Popcorn flick to the max. Knows when to be ridiculous and knows when to be serious.
What?
The entire premise is ridiculous, so I don't know.
I could have done without Paige Kennedy complete. That character was pointless.
Who was Paige?
DJ.
Oh,
DJ, yeah.
the one who couldn't swim. Yeah, the stereotype of black people can't swim. Yeah.
I could
Yeah,
have done
that-
without the character completely.
That was high. That was highly offensive. It was like, oh Jesus Christ, we're really going to do this?
Served no purpose, and clearly they couldn't get
Yep.
Kevin Hart. So
No, you thought it was Hannibal
They
Brutus?
got a guy to do a Kevin Hart impersonation for an hour and a half.
Yeah, this one's got a 9-star off of Metacritic. I don't know if this is the title or the name. It says Mad Max Fury Road,
that's the reviewer.
Okay. All right. The Meg is definitely one of the better shark movies recently, far surpassing major letdowns such as 47 Meters Down. But what makes The Meg so great is that it isn't just your average shark film. There's a whole lot of depth associated with these characters.
Ocean Puns.
And their relationships together were fantastic. Jason Statham was amazing as the lead role, and as were the other characters. The film did not seem quite prolonged, but The Meg is still full of plenty of surprises, and watching it was an excellent way to end the summer. First off, your comment that this movie was not prolonged, I give you a second megalodon.
The film did seem quite prolonged.
I turned to Brian and I was like, it's going to end at some point in our lives, right?
It felt long.
This movie went on.
It could have ended 7 times.
Yeah, seriously.
It could have, but it didn't.
And by the way, I would like to really kind of lay out some of the deaths that happened via shark, right? The deaths by shark. The first one we got was the guy who I thought was from the Titanic, who had no name. The Wall, that guy, whatever. Fat guy died. Fine. Who died after that? We had the doctor who said, "You're too crazy, Jason Statham.
I will sacrifice myself."
He sacrificed himself to redeem himself. He died. Rainn Wilson died.
Thank God.
Which was just stupid. He died in a very dumb way.
He died trying to get money.
Yeah. He died like the lawyer in Jurassic Park.
He died trying to cover up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Explain to me, because his main motivation is, hey, this is a great opportunity to make money, right?
How?
No.
How?
No. He wasn't trying to make money. He didn't want money. He wanted to be the only one to have discovered this thing.
But how does that get you money? He talked about getting a return on his investment.
There's an entire scene where he's talking about return on investment.
Yes, and the return is once you have it and no one else does.
All right.
Then you can exploit it.
Wait a minute, were they trying to stock this big facility with animals that they found? Was it supposed to be an aquarium?
No, not an aquarium. He wanted he
wanted it's just a research facility.
I just read that review and I was just
he wanted to find the thing. He wanted to go below the surface and find the world below there, and then they would set up shop.
Of the 15 cast members that we met, 4 or 5 of them die by shark in a very non-satisfying way at all. And then the whole beach, which you would just assume the shark would open mouth and just be like a blue whale and just eat a bunch of krill.
They can't get in that far.
We only saw but they were swimming through a whole crowd of people. We killed maybe 10. There were less than 30 people killed by the shark is what I'm saying. This is ridiculous.
Then good.
All right. Listen, I think we can all safely say, don't see the Meg. We saw it so you don't have to.
Or see it.
No, I knew you were going to say that.
Just have fun.
But wait, but if you see it, go right now. Go now to a theater, encourage other people to join you, and then just make fun of it out loud.
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater the hell out of this movie.
Oh, because you can.
You have my permission to text during this movie, like I do.
You can. All of us at one point were just doing Jason Statham voice. Back and forth.
We did.
I don't even remember the shit. There were
doesn't matter.
2 or 3 times I said something out loud, and at least a few people around us. CJ did the same thing, and then and Brian with the big finish at the end there just got the whole theater going. But that's the kind of movie it was. Nobody around you is taking it seriously.
Right. We didn't get shushed at all.
Nobody.
I thought we would have gotten shushed.
No, and we were not being quiet.
We were not being quiet. Just like Skyscraper, where we forced people to move. We were not holding back with the Meg. All right. Well, listen, listeners, we did this for you. Next month, Brian's going to have another list of movies to pick from. Have kindness, have some pity on us, and please don't make us see terrible movies together. Just give us something good for once. But I at least enjoyed talking about this movie and ripping it apart. And I always look for your second opinion. So if you do have anything that you want to add, if you do see this movie, please let us know. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next month on this Patreon exclusive episode of That Kind of Nerd. Thank you so much.
Well, welcome to the club, because you are that kind of nerd.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this preview of some of the fantastic content that we give exclusively to our patrons. If you want to hear more about Skyscraper, Peppermint, A Star is Born, Instant Family, Bumblebee, Vice, Bandersnatch, and The Punisher Season 2, you need to go to patreon.com/thatkindofnerd and become an exclusive member, and there is only more to come. Some fantastic things on the docket, and we cannot wait to share it with you. So, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please go ahead and subscribe to Patreon, and we will see you next week.